Hello everyone and welcome to the part 2 of continuous type probability distributions. These are the lecture objectives to understand probability density function and cumulative distribution function for continuous variables to explore different types of continuous probability distributions. Now random variable. So random variable x takes on defined set of values with different probabilities. For example, if you roll a die, the outcome is random, which is not fixed, and there are 6 possible outcomes, each of which will occur with a probability of 1 by 6. Another example, that is, if you poll people about their voting preferences, the percentage of sample that responds yes on a proposition of 100 is also a random variable. Roughly, probability is how frequently we expect different outcomes to occur if we repeat the experiments over and over. So we have already seen this in the previous video, that is random variables can be discrete or continuous. But let us revise this. Discrete random variables have a countable number of outcomes, dead or alive, dice, coin flips, counts, etc. Continuous random variables have an infinite quantum of possible values. Example you may take, that is blood pressure, weight, the weight or speed of the car, and height of a person. Now let us talk about probability distribution function of continuous variables and cumulative distribution functions of continuous type of variables. Now first of all, we will talk on the probability density function for continuous case. Now the distribution for f of x is e to the power minus x square by 2 divided by under root 2 pi. Now this is the equation of standard normal distribution. So if you go on putting the values in this x, you will get such type of curve, which is called as a standard normal curve. So this is probability density function. Now if you plot a graph with the values, if you take this case, so it will give you the area covered to the left of the side, right? So if you take this is nothing but the average, and if you see, this is the minimum mean value, that is average value, and its cumulative probability is coming out to be 0.5, right? So this means that it covers the half portion of your standard distribution. So in this way, this cumulative distribution function is plot. So minimum value, the cumulative probability is 0, and at the maximum value, the probability is 1. So in this way, you can plot the cumulative distribution function, which is approximately a S-shaped curve. Now, if you talk about continuous probability distributions, we have 3 popular continuous probability distributions. The first one is the normal distribution. Now, the normal distribution represents the behavior of the most of the situations in the universe. That's why it is called as a normal distribution, right? Any distribution is known as a normal distribution if it has the following properties. The mean, median, and mode of the distribution will coincide. The curve of the distribution is a bell-shaped and symmetrical about the line x equals to mu. The total area under the curve is 1. Exactly half of the values are to the left of the center and other half to the right. This is the formula for the normal distribution where mu is represented by the mean, sigma is standard deviation. And if you put x equals to 0 and sigma equals to 1, you get in this equation x equals to 0 and mu is equals to 0 and sigma is equals to 1. You will get this equation, which is called as the standard normal distribution. Now we can transform all the observations of any normal random variable x with mean mu and variance sigma to a new set of observations of another normal random variable z with mean 0 and variance 1 using following transformation. So the formula for z is z equals to x minus mu by sigma. Now let us take an example in which you have the mu population mean as 2 and population standard deviation as 1 by 3. So suppose you want to compare this distribution with say another distribution with mean sum, let us say 4, and suppose sigma as let's say 2 by 3. So in order to compare all such types of curve, it is transformed to z distribution. So you can clearly see that this is the first distribution with mu equals to 2 and sigma is 1 by 3, and it is transformed to this z curve. The logic behind this is the area under the curve will remain same. Even if you take this case and you transform it to z distribution, then area under the curve will remain same. Let us understand this with the help of an example. It was found that the mean length of 100 parts produced by a lathe was 20.05 mm with a standard deviation of 0.02 mm. Find the probability that a part selected at random would have a length between 20.03 and 20.08 mm respectively. So what is given? That x is equals to length of the part, mu is given as 20.5 and sigma is given as 0.02, and you have to find the probability that a part selected at random would have a length between this. So you have to find p of 20.03 less than x less than 20.08. So this probability you have to find out. So you have this formula z equals to x minus mu by sigma, which will transform your distribution into standard normal distribution. So this is the z distribution table. So first of all, we will calculate z for the first observation, that is 20.03. So x is 20.03 minus mu is 20.05 divided by sigma is 0.02, which comes out to be minus 1. Then we will calculate z for 20.08. This is the upper limit. So that is 20.08 minus 20.05 divided by 0.02. That comes out to be 1.5. So if we take or if we see this normal distribution, the z value is here on this side as well as this side, right? So z for minus 1 means this limit, and z is 1.5, so means this limit. So basically you want to find the probability of x between these two limits. So the shaded region you have to identify. So how to find out this probability? So we will see the table, that is from -1 to 0, we have to see the value of 1, right? So we in Z distribution table we have to see value of 1. So it will give you this much area up to 0, right? That value is 0.3413, which is written over here. Then next value is 1.5. So next you have to calculate this region, right? So which is 1.5 means this value 1.5. So it is 0.4332. So which comes out to be 0.7745. So this is the probability of length of the part will be between 20.03 mm and 20.08 mm. So in this way we can use this Z transformation. The second popular distribution is exponential distribution. So exponential distribution models the interval of time between the two events, that is time between two calls or time between two metro arrivals. For example, if for a call center, if somebody calls you at 11 and then next call receives at 12, so this will be modeled by exponential distribution. So you may have multiple calls on a given time range. So this is basically modeled by exponential distribution. So exponential distribution is widely used for survival analysis from the expected life of a machine to expected life of a human. Exponential distribution successfully delivers the result. So random variable x is said to have an exponential distribution with probability distribution function as f of x lambda e to the power minus x, where x is greater than or equal to 0. Now lambda is always greater than 0 because it is a failure rate or arrival rate. A rate cannot be negative, and hence the value of lambda will always be greater than 0. Also, the greater the rate, faster the curve drops, and lower the rate, flatter the curve. So the graph will show you that the blue colored line is of lambda is equal to 0.25. You can see that this line is going from here and then gradually it is becoming 0. Around 10 it is becoming 0. If we increase the value of lambda, that is 0.5, orange color line, it is getting 0 around 7. And if you further increase the lambda, it is suddenly getting 0 at approximately 5, right? So the greater the rate, faster the curve drops. Let us take a practice problem. Let x is equal to amount of time a waiter spends with his or her customer. The time is known to have an exponential distribution with the average amount of time equal to 4 minutes. Find the probability that a waiter spends 4 to 6 minutes with a randomly selected customer. So in this case, you are given with average amount of time, that is mu. So if you want to calculate the time per customer, that will be nothing but 1 by mu, which is the rate at which this customer is getting serviced. So it is 0.25 lambda, and you want to find out the probability that a waiter spends 4 to 6 minutes with a randomly selected customer. Now the probability of x to be between 4 to 6. So first of all, you need to calculate, basically your objective is to calculate this region, right? This red colored shaded region. So for that, you will be calculating area under the curve to the left, right? Then you will be subtracting this area from it so that ultimately you will get the area which you want. So let us identify probability of x to less than equal to 6, less than 6. So you have to sum up all the probabilities, that is probability of x equals to 0 plus probability of x equals to 1 up to probability of x equals to 5. So by summing all these probabilities, you will get this value 0.8780. Then similarly, you have to sum up probability of x equals to 0 to x equals to 3, right? So you will get probability of x less than 4, which comes out to be 0.7144. So finally, you will get the probability of x to be less than in between 4 to 6. So that is 0.1636. So in this way, we can solve the problem on exponential distribution. The third type of continuous probability distribution is uniform distribution. A uniform distribution, sometimes also known as rectangular distribution. It is a distribution that has constant probability. That's why it is called as rectangle distribution. This distribution is defined by two parameters, A and B. So A is basically the minimum value and B is the maximum value. So you can see that on x-axis you have A, it is the minimum value, and B, it is the maximum value. And this is your uniform distribution in form of a rectangle, right? So probability density function for uniform distribution is 1 upon B minus A, maximum value minus minimum value, and for all the values between A to B and 0 otherwise. The cumulative distribution function for uniform distribution is like this: 0 to A, it has no probability, that is 0. Then B, it has certain 1 probability, so that's why this straight line. So the formulas for theoretical mean and standard deviation for a uniform distribution is mu equals to A plus B by 2, simple calculation. So you will get A plus B by 2, that is the mean, right? And sigma is under root of B minus A square by 12. Let us quickly take the problem based on uniform distribution. The amount of time in minutes that a person must wait for a bus is uniformly distributed between 0 and 15 minutes. What is the probability that a person waits fewer than 12.5 minutes? And secondly, on the average, how long must a person wait? Find the mean, mu, and standard deviation, sigma. So if you look at the question, you are given with A is equals to 0 and B is 15. Let X is equals to the number of minutes a person must wait for a bus. Using the formula of f of x, you can calculate the value of f of x, which is 1 by 15. In the first question, you have to find out the probability that a person waits fewer than 12.5 minutes. So if you see the graph, you basically want to calculate this shaded region, right? So that is nothing but probability of x less than 12.5, which is equals to the area under this rectangle. So which comes out to be 12.5 minus 0, that is representing the length of the rectangle, and height is nothing but the f of x value. So height is 1 by 15. So this probability comes out to be 0.833. So the person waits fewer than 12.5 minutes. The probability associated with this event is 0.833. Secondly, you want to calculate how long must a person wait. So using the formulas, you can calculate the mean waiting time, that is a plus b by 2, that is 15 plus 0 by 2, that is 7.5. And similarly sigma, which comes out to be 4.3. So in this way, we can solve the problem based on uniform distribution. Thank you for watching this video. You can send me your requests to untwistedlearning@gmail.com. I will try to answer each and every request of yours. Do not forget to like, subscribe and share. Have a good day and happy learning.